Hey fifth graders, today we are going to be talking about how to find a reading spot. We normally do this at school. We have lots of different spots at school, but now that we're at home, we need to think about things a little bit differently than we do at school. So the first thing you need to think about when you're picking a reading spot is, what are you using to read? Are you using a book? Are you using a tablet? Or are you using a computer? Each of these different formats for reading is going to have some different things that you need to take into consideration when you are picking your reading spot. For example, a book you can take almost anywhere, but it's a little bit harder to take your computer different places, and you might want a flat surface to rest your computer on when you're using your computer. But if you're using a book or a tablet, those are usually a little bit lighter, so you're able to take them more places. Also, if you're using a computer, you might need some place where you can have it plugged in. So those are some things you need to take into consideration, and you also need to make sure your spot has everything you need. So what are some things your spot might need? You need light. So either you can use light from a window. If you have a lamp nearby, that would work too. Light can come in a few different ways, but you want to make sure that it doesn't hurt your eyes when you're reading your book. Another thing you want to take into consideration is your comfort. You want to be comfortable. You want to be able to read and be comfortable and not be distracted by being uncomfortable, but you also don't want to be so comfortable that you accidentally fall asleep while you're reading. So you want to make sure you find that perfect level of comfort where you're able to read and stay focused on your reading, but you're also nice and comfortable. You also want to pick a quiet spot. Now, I know at home sometimes it's really hard to find a super quiet spot, and it might not be silent, and that's okay. You just want to find a spot where it's not super noisy. So if you have family members who have the TV on really loud, that might not be a good place to read your book. You might want to find a spot where it's quiet enough that you can stay focused and there won't be as many distractions, which brings me to my next point. The last thing your spot needs when you read is that you are able to focus. So you want to take away as many distractions as you can. So you want to try to be away from people if you can, put the phone away, put your games away, don't read your book while someone's watching TV in the same room. You want it to be a spot where you're able to focus on your book and pay attention. So now that we've talked about what our spots need, let's look around and see if we can find some good reading spots. So if I'm reading on my computer, one of my favorite spots to read is at my desk. It has a nice flat surface, and I actually have a stand for my computer so that it can be flat and it doesn't fall. It also has a place where I can plug it in, and my chair is pretty comfortable, but not too comfortable that I'm gonna fall asleep. I also have everything I need because there's a window. I have spaces to put my water and tissues in case I need to blow my nose, and it's a really good spot for if I'm reading on a computer. Another good reading spot if I'm using my computer is in my kitchen. I have two places in my kitchen that I can read. I can read here at the counter where it's nice and tall and I have these chairs that I can sit on, or I could read at the kitchen table, which also has some comfortable chairs. Depending on where people are, if someone's in the kitchen cooking, then I probably won't want to be here at the kitchen counter and might want to be at my table instead. If I'm reading a book or a tablet, I have a few more options because it's not as heavy and it can be carried everywhere more easily. So one of my favorite places if I'm reading a book is in this chair right here. This chair is really, really comfortable and it has great natural lighting because the window is right behind me. It also has some tables where I can put water or anything else that I might need nearby while I'm reading. Another great spot if I'm reading a book or a tablet is the couch. I love to read on my couch, and I always love to have this cozy blanket with me to make me even more comfortable. If I'm really tired though, this might not be the best place for me to read because I might accidentally fall asleep. Or if someone in my family is watching TV, this might not be a good place for me to read either because the TV might be distracting. So even though I love this spot, it might not always be the best choice depending on what the other people in my family are doing. Luckily, it's still warm outside, so I'm able to even take my books outside if I want to. On sunny days, my balcony is a great place to read a book. There's so much light, it's nice to get outside and get some fresh air, and I know that this is a quiet spot because my family is inside and it gives me some time to focus and really think about what it is that I'm reading. Another place I love to read is in my bed. Usually I save this for right before I go to sleep because sometimes if I get in my bed in the middle of the day, I just want to take a nap. So you have to be really careful when you choose your bed, but it's always such a comfortable spot. I have a lamp right next to me, so if it's dark, I can read. I can keep my pile of books next to me, so if I want to change books, I have that. And it's just so comfortable to read in your bed, and it's another great spot to choose when you're picking a reading spot. So now that we've gone over some different possible reading spots that you might have in your house, it's important to remember that even though a spot might work for you one day, you might need to reevaluate and see if it works for you again the next day. You might want to switch up your reading spots based on what's going on in your house and what kind of mood you're in, or even what kind of weather there is outside. Remember, whenever you're picking a reading spot, you want to make sure you're focusing on if there's enough light, if you're comfortable, but not too comfortable because you don't want to fall asleep on accident. You want it to be quiet and a place where you can focus. Next, you're going to have a chance to pick a reading spot that works for you and in your house and practice reading so that we can do this every day when we're doing our reading time.